Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. And it is your business to protect your civil liberties. I'm telling you right now. And they are really, we're living in danger. I've mentioned before often on the show that Benjamin Franklin may have put it best when he said, those who are willing to trade their freedoms for security deserve neither. And we are in mass trading our freedoms. I got people now telling me all the time, if the government wants to do that without a warrant, I am totally okay with doing that. Well, listen, if the government wants to do anything that goes against the Constitution of the United States, they need to change the Constitution.
Either that or they need to start following it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they want to do something that's not constitutional, they need to change the Constitution. And so the Bill of Rights is absolutely hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I'm so excited by the topic. I didn't even introduce my guest, Chris Corso with the Corso Law Group, and that's CorsoLawGroup.com. Offices in Arizona, and here in Houston. He's a regular on The Price of Business, and people who hear you say, "Oh, we see why," because you bring such great insight of what's happening on to me one of the most crucial battlefields we have, which is really the rule of law.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't blame you for being fired up over this right off the bat. Guess what? Government just requested your email.
Oh, my God.
Microsoft. Let's hope you don't have Microsoft.
That's right up there with the government's here to help, right? Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, this. It seems like every week we're talking about something like this, and you kind of get numb to it, and I think that's the problem right now. But, we got these big tech companies. You got Apple and Microsoft and Facebook, and what's happening is they're involved in some lawsuits with the government, FBI and so on, and what they're arguing is there's many requests being made, demands actually, with these companies to secure private emails and information on their customers. And what they're arguing isn't so much, hey, you can't ask for it. They're arguing, we want to tell the people that you're asking for this.
Right.
We want to tell our customers that there's these requests being made by you, and the government's saying, no, sorry, you
not
can't
even
do
that fundamental right.
Nope. And they're relying on a law that's 30 years old to support themselves, this Electronic Communications Act.
A law that had no basis of technology today.
No, none. Just like a lot of different laws that we follow today, that, as you just said, you got to change the Constitution then, because these things are outdated, but they cling to them like with their last breath, and so these are uphill battles. But these companies, luckily, are large enough to be able to fight this fight. But as citizens, you get on your email. Look, I always believe this. The argument goes back and forth. Well, is it public? Isn't it public? Anything you have to do, as you can see, I get fired up about this too.
Yeah.
Anything that requires a password, to me, isn't public.
Right.
Okay? So if you need a password to get on your email, which I think all of us do, and somebody's asking for that, I want to know about it. You got Fourth Amendment issues with search and seizure. You got First Amendment issues, for these companies that want to say, hey, look, we want to tell these people they have First Amendment rights, about putting things out there and talk and saying what they want to say and so on. And then other, that involve First Amendment. But yeah, it's
if there's no presumed personal protection, then hacking shouldn't be illegal.
Right. Exactly. You can't have it both ways.
Can't. No. I mean, the hypocrisy of it all is unbelievable. And so it's an amazing thing that's taking place, and it's happening on a large scale. Sometime I like to just kind of have as a mental note for you for a future show. I'd love to talk about the changing criteria for warrants, because it seems like it's a lot easier to get warrants now than just 10 or 20 years ago. I'm sure political cultures and, and political environments change. I know a lot has happened since September 11th, 2001 to change things. It's like, let's trust the government entirely now in order to protect us sheeple. But it seems to me things have changed a lot when it comes to warrants.
It's funny because I often hear you say a lot that the government, they're in the law enforcement's in the conviction business.
Right.
Well, there's reasons for that, and this is one of them. Government funding, things that they want, and so in other words, if law enforcement's out there and they're getting as many convictions as they can by whatever means, now the pitch can go to legislature and so on to say, hey, look, clearly there's an increase in crime, and we need to be able to do exactly what you're saying. Get in there and get these things and violate, make it easier to get the warrants.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, look, there's so much crime. We're having to put so many people away, and we're stopping so many people. You better make it a little easier for us to get the warrant so that we can protect the people. And this is how they backdoor it, And so that's why the stats. I always talk about statistics. Prosecutor's office. When I was there, that's what it's about. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
And so that's how they're doing it. And so it has loosened up. Look, it's just the DWIs itself. Get a judge on call to give you a warrant to take your blood, to actually hold you down and take your blood. There's nothing more personal than that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's entirely true. And so it's an evolving situation, evolving culture. And so what do you see happening? How is this going to get adjudicated?
Well, there are two different things happening. First is, as I said, they're trying to let the people know, the customers know that, hey, your information is being requested. And then there's the other part of it that's saying, okay, once you get it, this is what Facebook is talking about. They're saying, hey, prosecutors, it's the way you're applying this information, and I'm sorry, the way you're applying the law is fundamentally wrong. So there's two different issues happening. It's to prevent it and, what you do when you have it. So I don't know. You knew this was going to be a problem with all this came out with the internet someday. I think at some point they'll have to sit down and have some kind of regimented, this is what it has to be, this is the guideline. But I'm hoping the people win.
Yeah. Seems like the history of everything is extremes.
It is.
Right? Seems like we go from one extreme and then we go, we had a time in our culture where murderers were being let out after 2 years,
Right.
Just because of so-called good behavior, So there's just this. There seems to be a third way that makes societies and cultures work that's pretty elusive.
Yeah, well, that goes back to everything. I mean, you can go back to politics and you look at the two extreme sides, and it's when things come to the middle where I think you get things done.
Yeah.
But
and we can
right.
all live with that.
Absolutely.
We can live with that.
Because
and so
give and take.
What is it seems to me there's a lot of latitude towards moving more and more towards less civil liberty in our culture today.
Oh yeah, I mean every week we're talking about something. There is, and again, they hide behind protection.
Yeah,
they love that, and what's scary, really scary. Go on tonight and get on cable or whatever, satellite, and watch World War II stories and things like that and documentaries. It kind of close your eyes and think about back then. These countries were talking about. We have to protect our people. This is how we're going to do it.
Right.
We're going to corral them, push things down their throat, and take certain things away for their own good.
For their own good, right.
That's what's happening. Yeah. And it sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it?
It does.
Scary.
It
Very
does.
Scary.
Yeah, I recently read the Abolition of Man by C.S. Lewis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he talked about how cultures at some point people will develop what he calls empty chests. Where the government will essentially tell everyone what they are supposed to believe and what works. And you've got that with political correctness. You've got that with this really lockstep, almost neo-Nazi culture that we've developed. That to me is absolutely frightening.
Yeah. Fit everybody into a box.
Soon, before the show, my producer and I were talking about Airplane, the movie Airplane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting for that.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, exactly. But you look at some of those scenes are pretty controversial from a political correct status. At some point, we'll be watching that in our basement.
Yeah, I know.
We're going. It's a pretty sad state of affairs.
Looking over your shoulder, trying to do anything. I always tell you, I think every week I say it is, if you question anything like that, go to the airport. Just go to the airport and look around. Put it this way. If you went to the airport and you weren't flying that day and you sat around for about an hour and a half, somebody will approach you. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Why are you sitting there so long? What?
Yeah.
And that's so go. You see all and you need safety. But, boy, they hide behind that like it's no tomorrow, You
need safety, but at what price?
Yeah.
I don't want to become a pet in order to become safe. And I feel more and more that that expression sheeple is becoming more and more true.
Yeah, put everybody in a box, and that way you can control the mass.
That's right.
Sounds familiar.
Chris Corso is his name. He's a regular contributor on The Price of Business. His website, corsolawgroup.com. That's corsolawgroup.com. Final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Again, you have to speak up. Have a voice. That's what this country's based on. Have a voice. Don't just sit there and take these things. Yeah. You're smart. People think, well, I'm not as intelligent as other people may to speak up. No, you are. That's the thing. That's what this country's about. So,
that's right. And government will go as far as it can until there's push.
That's right. Push back.
That's right. Push back. So be the pushback.
Absolutely.
Don't just be the change, be the pushback.
Can't be just be you and I on the front line.
That's right, right. All right, my friend. Thanks so much for being with us as always.
Thank you.
When we come back, more for you. I do want to remind you the show continues 24/7 at priceofbusiness.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.